The end to a free decade of Netflix. Between 8 and 10 years ago I received an email welcoming me to Netflix. That was a bit concerning since I hadn't signed up, so I contacted the company. They told me someone must have accidentally used my email when they created an account. Our last names were the same and our first initial. I said, oh no problem, you must have additional contact information for them besides my email. Could you please remove my email from the account and let them know so they can fix? Well, immediately that was a big problem for Netflix, and well, no, they couldn't remove the email because it was the only one they had for the account, and how did they even know that it was mine? I said, give me your email address and start talking. I will email you the words as they come out of your mouth. That wasn't good enough for proof somehow. More likely I was in the other person's Gmail account asking to not have Netflix. What they finally ended up doing was changing the account password so that when the customer went to log back in they wouldn't be able to and would need to do a password reset by calling Netflix, and then they would confirm the email address. I kept getting Netflix emails, so that didn't work. I called again. Same again, didn't work. I changed the password several times myself because I could use the forgot password function and get an email to reset it. That didn't work. I don't know how they kept getting the new password without updating an email address, and I didn't really care at this point. For the last 8 to 10 years I have had Netflix on everything I own. I have signed in on hotel televisions, used it on my phone. My ex-BOX is my kid uses it. I only ever signed in under family and told him to do the same. The entire history in family is us. The other logins, Fred, Softy, and Lila, accumulated history. I would occasionally look because curious. Never did a single new show appear in the family watch history that wasn't because of me. Well, I woke up this morning to an email from Netflix telling me that this email address was no longer associated with that account and if I had any questions, etc. Thank you, Softy. It has been an amazing run and I am not sure why you gave me free Netflix for the last decade, but I think you are amazing. Too long didn't read. I asked Netflix to remove my email address from an account that was not mine that I did not pay for. They would not because they needed to have an email associated with an account. It stayed that way for 10 years and I used the account for free. I've got this same problem with my email tied to some little old lady's home shopping network account. She's recently taken up watercolors. I am glad she's got a hobby. There's a staff sergeant out there with my same last name and first initial. I am assuming his personal email is close to mine because his captain has been emailing me presentations to edit for 2 years. At first I told him wrong guy, but they kept coming, so I started editing. Some of them were really bad, so I redid them and provided copious notes. Since I kept getting them, I am assuming he uses them. One day soon either the staff sergeant or the captain is going to leave that duty station and this part of my life will end. He's learning though. What used to take me a couple hours can be done in 10 minutes now. Presumably they had a device that was logged in and never once lost access and therefore never needed the password. Kind of impressive. Among the early emails I received from Netflix was one saying that because I used some cable phone company, I was receiving free Netflix. Maybe they logged in through that. Sounds like you did everything you could to correct the mistake and neither the account holder nor Netflix did anything to fix it. As far as I am concerned, you were in the clear to use Netflix. Good for you. Money shows up at your doorstep. You do your due diligence. Go to the cops and they let you keep the money. I've gotten Cheryl's cookies in the mail every holiday for the last 2.5 years. They're being sent to the right address. No one by that name has ever lived here. I've done everything I can to try and correct the issue, but I stopped worrying around the 5th delivery. Looking forward to my Easter cookies next week. Edit: I didn't get Easter cookies. I live in an apartment and whoever was in it before me had been signed up for a monthly popcorn subscription for a birthday gift. Apparently right as they moved out, the first 3 months we took the box to the complex office so they could send it on to wherever they lived now. But after that, we just kept them. A full year later and they finally stopped showing up. I've had a pen name, a pretty generic unisex name, for close to 2 decades. I have an email account associated with this name, and I get emails from multiple countries intended for people who actually have this name. Following their lives has been very interesting. When possible, I respond to the sender and tell them about the mix-up. I managed to connect the harpist to the bride after he mistakenly emailed me with his availability for her wedding. One person has fallen on hard times in the last few years and is behind on the water bill, and they get emails from payday loan businesses, while another gets emails about his Porsche. I see all of their online orders, and I just found out that another is buying a new mattress. There's no benefit to me so far, no free Netflix or the like. I suppose if I had a criminal mind I could steal someone's identity. I can't believe the info that is shared in emails, but I don't, so I'll just keep on following their lives from afar, at least until they learn to give out their proper email addresses. I get some guy's tax returns every year. It took several years for Quicken to figure it out, and only after I threatened to expose the fact they are disclosing his information to me after being warned. He is at fault because he keeps using the wrong email address, but I don't have his to contact him, only Quicken, and I did many times. Documented. I just got my yearly email from the same dude apologizing for using my address again. I am like, whatever, if you don't care about your privacy, then okay. I bought a car from a salvage yard. Hail damaged salvage titled .3rd car I bought from them. If the car has XM radio, they pay for a year subscription when you buy. A year later, you sign up or the radio goes dead. Except I guess, since they deal in a lot of these salvages, they just buy a blanket license from XM and remove sold vehicles from the database for next year's subscription. My last car was never removed. 0.5 years later, still free XM. I logged into Disney a few days ago after being away from it for a week or two. I binged WandaVision and was about to start Falcon WS, and I noticed that the first episode had already been watched. I then noticed a bunch of shit had been watched that was not in my sphere of interest. I then noticed a whole new profile when I backed out. I panicked, changed my password, logged out of everything, laughing my butt off. Sorry Daniel. Plot twist: Daniel is your split personality. Someone is using my email to gamble online, and I have recently thought about just calling and changing the password and taking their earnings, but that felt wrong. Still tempting though. If they are using someone else's account to gamble, I doubt they are winning anything, or they're gambling with a stolen credit card or something. There is a girl in South Carolina with the same first initial and last name as me, an old man in Virginia. When Pinterest became popular among the younger generation, I was surprised and delighted to learn that I had over 500 followers. My boyfriend has the same problem, kept getting emails from online gun stores confirming orders with additional contact information. Found him on Facebook and tried reaching out to the guy placing the orders to let him know he was using the wrong email address, in case there are problems with his order or he needs to return something. Pretty courteous, in my opinion, but the guy refused, flat out said he wouldn't be using a different email address. So every time an order confirmation would come through, my boyfriend would reply back to customer service to cancel it, and this guy ordered a lot, like several $100s worth of equipment a month. It took a couple order cancellations, but eventually the guy changed the email address because we haven't gotten another email from that website for about a year. I noticed someone was using my Netflix account when it kept recommending I keep watching stuff I definitely hadn't started. I am pretty sure they had it for their kids because it was a lot of shows for young kids. I didn't really mind. I just made a different profile for myself and used it, and they stayed on the other one. After a couple years it seemed like they stopped using it, and I finally changed the password sometime after that to share with my family. It was a free way to feel like a benevolent god for a while. It pisses me off when companies don't use an email account confirmation, or at least follow through with the confirmation to activate the account. A few years ago someone used my email address to sign up for Expedia and was able to fully use the account organizing trips, etc. Even though I hadn't clicked on the account confirmation link. I tried contacting Expedia about this and they were ducking useless, so duck it. Added a few filters in Gmail and it all gets promptly deleted. Plenty of fish didn't either. No idea if they've changed that. Someone used my email to sign up for an account, and after I was unable to get my email off the account, I just changed the profile to I am too stupid to know my own email address, changed the password to gibberish, and ignored the stream of password reset emails I got about a week later. Not email related, but a few months ago someone used my phone number to sign up for a gay dating app. It was like 3 AM and I just happened to be awake and on my phone at the time. I ignored the enter this pin to complete your profile text, but a few minutes later I got like 5 more pin texts in a row because the guy hadn't realized he put the wrong number in and was just mashing the resend pin button. The text stopped eventually, so hopefully he figured it out. I once got an email confirming someone's business card purchases. The receipt and PDF proof was there. He ordered several hundred business cards, all with my email address on them. Not quite as entertaining as OP here, but at a job I had more than 10 years ago they gave me a pay card debit card where my checks were automatically deposited. After I quit the job I prepaid an exact amount for gas one day and used up every last penny on the card, bringing my balance to 0.00. Not too long after that they sent me a monthly balance statement in the mail letting me know I had 0.00 left on the card. Waste of paper, but if it makes the company happy, more power to them I guess. A month later another one came in the mail, 0.00 next month another. Finally I tried to log into my online account that I was fairly certain I never had with them, and it didn't recognize my email or password. I called customer service. I let them know I drained every last penny off the card, didn't have the job anymore so no more money would ever go on that card, and I've even chopped up the card and threw it away. They keep wasting paper to tell me what I already know. Please stop sending me that paper. They told me in order to stop the papers being sent I would have to log in online and choose the paperless option. I told them I never signed in online, and when I tried it just to be sure it didn't recognize my information and I had no way to stop it. They told me they could cancel it for me over the phone if I gave them my password for the account, the one that didn't exist. I've received a piece of paper monthly with a total of 0.00 for my card that expired and that I chopped into pieces back around 2008-2009. Some banks and other finance companies are stuck on the ducking 1990s and are yet to realize that people are way more likely to switch to companies that, while still not giving a shit about their customers, at least treat them with decency and give them way more convenience in their services. My old bank wasn't that bad, but I still had to show up in my old branch to close my empty as all heck account, literally crossing the city just to do that, in the middle of a pandemic. Some are even worse and are run like some Soviet bureaus, with a duck ton of paperwork for simple stuff like cancelling services and getting a new card. I really hate a particular bank I did business with in my intern years, since dealing with them was always a pain in the ass. No idea how they don't bleed out from paper cuts with all that loving of papers and forms, probably driven by a hate boner for forests or something. Laughing my butt off. In the US at least, government regulations require banks to send regular statements. Someone signed up for PayPal using my email address, and now I can't ever use PayPal with my email address because when I told them, they permanently disabled my email address from using PayPal. I bought a TV that was returned to Best Buy after being sold during Black Friday event. Used price was cheaper than the Black Friday deal, and someone left their Netflix logged in. I just watched similar stuff on the user profiles that were in there. 3 years of free Netflix so far. Had something like this happen with our internet at a house we rented. Called after a couple months there to see why we never got a bill. Was told you don't have an account. Told them we had been using it for 2 months. They said, oh well, you don't have an account and we aren't providing you service. So rather than argue I told them okay, and we never got a bill the entire duration of living there. This is a Gmail account, right? I have been getting some other dude's emails for like 5 years. I've been cancelling his Apple appointments, vet appointments, emailing his business partners to verify they are spelling his email address right since they keep sending me financial information etc. Nothing. Gmail does something duck you are like fierce last name and first name. Last name are functionally the same in their system. This same thing happened to me with my garbage service. I moved into a house where the previous tenant had died. Naturally none of the accounts were cancelled. PGE, cable, water etc. No problem. Called, said hey, I live here and want to give you money, and they said yes, please give us money. Only the trash company was like, the previous person needs to cancel the account. I said he's dead. They said, well, have a representative call us and provide a death certificate. I thought they were joking but weren't. I figured it would sort itself out. 11 months later they took my cans. I called, started a new account and got 11 free months of trash pickup. I have this same problem with PayPal. My email is literally my name and someone used my email address that has been used for my PayPal account since 2009 to open a second account. I provided documentation that it's not me, plus the sketchy transfers of money, and I still get emails for Joseph from them. Score on free Netflix though. Sad that it's the end of an era. However, lol. I worked Netflix many years ago. After 6 months I got a free DVD player and free account. I quit at 7 months because they were automating. It took them 6 years to shut off my account. Now I have to pay like the rest of you plebs. Same. I worked for the DVD side of Netflix. Got laid off less than a year after starting and asked if I would lose my free account. They said yes, but it was still active for about 6-7 years before it required me to enter payment information so they can charge me. Missed opportunity to communicate with them by changing your profile's name like my ex did when I blocked him on everything else. Is there a character limit? What did he have to say? I wanna know too. My husband kept getting emails meant for someone with the exact same name because this guy kept giving my husband's email instead of his own. The email address is their name. Finally got something with his phone number on it. Unfortunately, also had a lot of personally identifiable info. So he called them to get it straightened out and finally stopped getting this guy's emails. His wife was super interested to hear her info was in my husband's email inbox. I don't think he'll hear from that guy anymore. Some bloke in New Zealand has my name and used my Gmail address for a bunch of stuff, mostly real estate listings. Early on I got emails from his wife, replied stating she had the wrong Nida Rosa. Those emails stopped so they know about it, but I still get restaurant and real estate offers. I suppose God's telling me to move to NZ. There's a guy in the UK with my name. I am in the US and he is very confident that my email account is his email account. I get his pension information, travel itineraries, hotel reservations, appointment confirmations, account sign-ups, and have for several years. You would think he would eventually figure out that he never gets his important emails because he's giving out someone else's email address, but I guess he assumes that it is his name, so those emails should be coming to him. Anyway, he apparently had an accident in London and the Met Police are emailing me to contact him to come in and speak to them about the collision. They were kind enough to include the other driver's information. Sorry about your car, Giovanni. I apparently had a driving test in Canada. That's the wrong continent for me. But the good news is I passed and a few days later got insurance on a car, so I guess if I ever visit I'm good to drive. Also, someone seems to have set up an Instagram account for me, but I don't think much of the photos they're sharing looks nothing like me. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing for more videos.